And hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4. Yes, 4 of D&E Siblings talking to each other because they're siblings. This episode, we are joined by a special guest, my boy and yours, Mr. Matt Gerrish.
Hello.
Over from Matt. Is your channel still the Facetious Filmmaker?
No, I think it's just my name now. I think it's Matthew Gerrish.
That's a 2020 power move, right? Everybody switched over to their real names because it's like, look, this was a bygone era. It's over.
I did this a long time ago. I did this in like 2017. I'm ahead of the curve.
Good for you.
I'm still getting over the fact that 2017 is a long time ago. Anyway, so today is going to be a bit of a different kind of episode. So the last few episodes we did were us telling each other about things that we like. Well, today we're both going to be talking, all three of us, about a thing that we, well, not in Matt's case, but in our case, thing that we all really love a whole lot, and that is the 1990 surprisingly fun movie, Tremors, starring Burt Ward and Kevin Bacon and a bunch of other people.
I thought it was Fred Ward.
Burt Ward.
I thought it was Fred Ward.
Really? Hang on, let me check and see. Because
I swear that it's Fred Ward because I remember watching it when I was like in 5th grade thinking, Fred Ward, like Fred Ward.
Fred. Oh, shit, it is him. Never mind, Fred Ward.
Get wrecked,
okay, this is a great episode. Off to a great start. Okay, so
just say Kevin Bacon and Earl. We don't need
Kevin
anybody
Bacon
else's.
And Earl.
We don't need anybody else's actor names. They're just let's just refer to them by their characters.
Reba's in it too, though.
Well, alternate episode title for this will be V and E covered by D and E. So,
okay,
that's hilarious.
This is great. All right, so Tremors is just a oddly small movie. I mean, probably really big budget movie for the time. Emma, keep going.
I want to talk about it. Okay, so I started watching this movie in 4th grade. I've watched it probably 200 to 400 times. But when the Blockbuster near us closed, Tremors was on sale for like $1. It was a VHS tape.
Which is a steal.
One of those stupid plastic cases. You have to squeeze the side.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
I fucking hate those. But anyways, so the cover, the cover art looks like Jaws, but it's the graboid coming from the bottom of the earth, and then they're standing at the top. So it's a cool homage to Jaws, but also I hate Jaws because they demonize sharks and it makes everybody scared of sharks, and that's stupid. Yes. Sharks are awesome and they do not care about people.
They're great.
I'm heated about this.
Sharks are
Tremors
cute. I love sharks.
Is a great movie. I think of it, though, as a bad movie, like a good bad movie. You know what I mean? Because I watched it for so long and it's like country themed. So I think of it as a good bad movie.
I can kind of see
Bacon
that,
is in it. So it's like a good bad movie. You know what I mean? But
I think the 80s and 90s had a lot of good bad movies. That was like the era of good bad movies.
But like the funding for this movie is so clearly like it's a good movie.
No, yeah.
So well, that's. I mean, you look at the graboids and they're all so well made.
Okay, you're fine.
Oops. Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah, you're fine.
They're so well made that you legitimately think that they could exist.
Well, my thing too was, so there are a lot of scenes of like stuff getting sucked underground, but there's also shots of things shooting up out of the ground.
Yeah.
And it didn't occur to me. So like the scene with the doctor and his wife, which by the way is my favorite scene in the movie.
I was going to talk about that. That scene is horrifying.
Oh, but
they're so cute together.
I know. It was like
old age romantic couples who are like.
No, but I couldn't believe they killed them.
Well, but there's that scene. But there's the shot where like where the generator shoots up out of the ground.
Yeah.
They actually shot a generator up out of a hole. With freaking sand and shit. I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. No, but see here, this is a thing that I love.
He's like, it's a geyser. And she's like, it's clearly not a geyser.
This is a thing that I love. Hang on, let me see if I can pull up the budget for this thing. Oh my god, so the budget for this movie was $10 million.
Yeah,
I know. Paid off.
Yeah, I know.
I was looking it up earlier. It's actually like, for a feature film, that's actually relatively low budget.
Oh yeah, no, but one thing that I love is, and I don't want to say that this is a then versus now thing, because there are still pretty low budget movies. Gareth Edwards, the guy who did Rogue One and Godzilla 2014, his first feature film was a small indie monster movie called Monsters. I don't know what the budget for that was, but I know that he was not working with Disney Star Wars money, right? But I feel like back then budgets were such that you could make a small little monster movie and see a really good return on it, because you didn't have all these like huge actors, you didn't have these like insane special effects budgets, you didn't have all these reshoots and stuff. So like and I feel like this movie, independent of that, was just super focused.
Totally.
It was also so like you could tell that all of the budget went into the special effects.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a rinky-dink town called Perfection that I didn't understand that the town was called Perfection until probably 2 years ago. And all of my rewatches, I never understood it, because when you're that young, you kind of just, you hear words meld together and you're like, that's the word.
Yes, I agree. But also, given how much we watched that movie, we probably were just like, oh, who gives a shit?
I didn't understand half the jokes. I was just, this is life. And now I'm like watching it and I'm like, oh, that was all lost on me. Wow, okay.
Oh yeah.
I was just like in it for the monsters and the explosions and the cursing. Really the cursing.
Pardon my French.
Pardon my French. Yes.
They keep saying pardon my French, and it's
that was the first time I think either of us had ever. This is the movie that introduced the concept of pardon my French to us.
Exactly.
And I was like, that's such a smooth dude. Can we talk about too? Like Fred Ward is so goddamn smooth.
He's really good in the second movie, Tremors Aftershocks, which is also on Netflix.
I didn't know he was in that movie.
Don't watch it.
Okay,
because the graboids evolve. Like, Fred Ward is tasked with destroying like 60 graboids. There's this
because don't they have kids or something? Like they have baby graboids?
No. Hold on, listen. So Val is off with his wife. They're doing stuff. Earl is like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't like trademark the graboids. I lost all this money, blah, blah, blah. And then there's this like intern kid who he is blowing up all the graboids with. There's like 60 graboids. They blow them all up super easily. Like they're not learning. It's not difficult. There's a whole 5-minute montage in the beginning of them doing it. And then all of a sudden,
oh no,
there's a new graboid. They're on
is
legs.
This the one? Oh,
little
yeah,
ones
this is
on
that
legs,
one.
and they're heat seeking. They don't listen. They're
like
heat
missiles.
seekers. And so everybody has to like coat themselves in fire extinguisher and like walk really slowly so that they don't heat up. And at one point,
that doesn't make
like
any sense.
What's his name? Bert comes back and Heather left him because he was too focused on World War III. And he has this gun.
Also because she's Reba McEntire and she had other stuff to do.
Yeah, her and Kevin Bacon had to move on.
Yeah, they were like, we're busy having actual careers, guys.
But like Bert has this gun that's like mega or whatever, and he shoots this graboid, or I think they're like walkoids or something by that point. But like the bullet goes through the car engine behind it and destroys their escape route. And it's like, thank you for portraying the stupidity of big, powerful weapons.
No, but like,
and how they impact everything wrong. Like,
so you were talking about how like there's no learning. That's the thing that I love about this movie is like the monsters are in it from like the first scene.
They are.
Where like, because like you got like the first scene with the stampede. And they established the stampede. I'm like, oh, that's funny. They're cute. And then it turns out that's how they win at the end. And I'm like, no, they were thinking about the whole thing.
There's a lot of parallelism. There's not a wasted moment. The jokes that are there are really
It's a really like tight 90 minutes. It's a really.
I was gonna say it does a really good job of like setup and payoff, like especially with the stampede thing, because I totally forgot about that until the end.
Yeah.
I remember,
and it's so funny when he mentions it. He's like, it just kind of hit me, stampede,
like,
and then you're like, ah.
Well, because like I think because I realized I hadn't seen this movie since like maybe 2010, 2011 at like the latest. So I remembered how they win, but I forgot that it was because you remember the stampede, and then I was like, oh, dude. No, but another thing that I love too is that like first off. Emma, you've been to the Southwest before, right? Like you've been to like Colorado. Have you been to like really like rural BFE Colorado?
So of what I can see, I like that you're thinking that Colorado is
or no, hold up. This is
I've been
Nevada.
to really I've been to like
Nevada.
I've been to like El Paso, Texas, and Santa Fe, New Mexico, and
okay,
everywhere in Nevada. I know what you're talking about.
Cool.
I do.
No, Matt, have you been to
drove
like
by
rural,
the Grand Canyon.
Have you been to rural BFE? Like,
kind of like I've been to Arizona and Nevada when I was younger. So I don't really 100% remember all of it, but I just remember like going to the desert sometimes.
I mean, the
like,
terrain holds up. It's definitely like the same area, but you don't know where it is, and that's like really well done. You say the mountains and Bigsby and perfection. That's the only location that you have.
So one thing I love about
pretty cool
that is that like I feel like because like we drove through this really tiny town called Dolan Springs on our way to the Grand Canyon on our honeymoon, and there really is like nothing there. Oh yeah, married, gay. No, so like it's crazy. But like one thing that I love is that like there are towns like Perfection everywhere in the Midwest. That's like a middle-sized town in like the Southwest, in that part of the country. And I feel like if you've been there, you get it, because it's like, no, there is nothing out here. Yeah. Like it's not like, oh, like there's nothing for like 2 miles and then you get to a gas station. No, there is literally nothing. You guys have to gear up and get ready to camp if you're gonna like make a multi-day trip. Yeah. Like, and so I really think that adds a lot to it, but it also adds a lot to like, you know, of course they're all gonna be friendly and know each other. It's a really tightly knit community. And so there's the incentive to stay because you want to be with these people that you've worked with for a long time, but also you want to leave because aside from them, there's nothing else there. Yeah. You know, and like you've got like, Chang's store is like, it's the store, it's the post office.
It's literally the only store.
It's the only store.
I appreciate that they didn't super hold to a bunch of stereotypes.
Yeah, totally.
I agree too. Yeah.
Chang is just cheap. Like it has nothing to do with his ethnicity and his race.
Oh,
he's
totally.
Just a cheap guy.
Well, and also
the
he's
one
poor.
Hispanic guy. Yeah, he's poor. I mean, he runs a store. He's got nothing else going for him. He wants to be a successful store owner, and there's like 5 people in the town. Obviously, he's going to take any chance to get money.
Oh, totally.
Like opportunity knocks, you're going to say yes. But like the one,
they take
Hispanic
a picture with the monster.
So funny. The one Hispanic guy who I don't even remember what his goddamn name is.
I think
Miguel.
He's just Hispanic.
Yeah, Miguel.
Like he's.
Although I'd argue he's probably. I think it's more likely that he's Mexican than that he's just Hispanic, given that like he lives in Nevada. So
for sure. No, but I mean, like, there's nothing like he doesn't at some point speak Spanish. He doesn't at some point like nobody makes a joke about him being Mexican or whatever. Nobody even talks about it, and I'm like, this is
great.
This is nice.
I also love that like
interesting job here.
I love, here's a thing that I love, right? How many else do you guys notice that the little girl is the same girl from Jurassic Park 1?
Oh my God.
Is it really?
It is. It's her.
Lex?
Yeah, no, go back and watch it. Like, it's her.
It's
like
definitely before she does Jurassic Park.
Well, no, because like
a little older.
Yeah,
oh my God,
so she would have been probably like 8 or 9 in this movie. Well, like 6 or 7 in this movie. And then like maybe like 13, like preteen or like early teenager in Jurassic Park.
Wow.
I wonder she was able to survive. She had experience from Tremors.
Oh,
yeah. I know. Well, maybe what ended up happening, maybe that's why Kevin Bacon was so against mutants in X-Men First Class, was because he's like, nah, man, I've fought monsters before, man. You can't let them go crazy.
It's all tied together.
Oh, definitely. Another thing
I have a question, actually.
Go ahead, Mr. Gerrish.
What is the deal with Melvin? Like, I understand he's like a shit, but like, where are his parents?
I have something to say. Nestor is his dad.
Nestor is his dad.
Oh, that's never addressed. But when Nestor dies, Melvin gets really upset. You know, he's like, "No way, you guys gotta do something," and every's really sad.
Okay.
You know, like because Nestor is his dad.
Oh,
now it makes more sense because Nestor's also kind of an asshole.
Yes, Nestor's a stupid piece of shit.
No, he was a stupid piece of shit.
No. But like in the very beginning, when Val and Earl are arguing about like having a long view and if we don't dig today, we don't get paid today. Now, damn it, Valentine, you never look ahead. You never take the long view. I mean, here it is Monday, and I'm already thinking of Wednesday. It's Monday, right? Like they're having that whole conversation. And I've totally memorized the entire movie.
I was gonna say that's like the full line.
Definitely. Yeah.
And they get to Nestor's house after they were like doing the garbage and stuff. They get to Nestor's house, and you know they're doing the thing, and then they get sprayed with all that nasty stuff. They say Val says, "Hey, Melvin, why don't you help us out? Most of this shit is yours anyway, because it's sewage." And then Melvin says, "Hey, why don't you run me down to the store, pick me up a 6-pack, I'll pay for it." And then Earl's like, "Son, beer's for adults." And that's like the stupidest comeback you could come back with, but obviously he's like working, so he doesn't care.
I also love that, like, even his comebacks. I also love that, like, oh my god, no, never mind. I was gonna be like Melvin, Herman, Melville, Moby Dick, Giant. Ooh, no.
Okay.
I feel like there were.
I think Melvin is just like the most stupid name you could give to somebody.
Oh, I think that's
and so you have to. It's like just like Mindy. Who could go wrong with naming a cute little blonde girl who jumps on a pogo stick and is Mindy. Totally innocent?
That's
Mindy.
true.
You know, it's like their names are kind of.
And then you've got like Val, like Valentine is like he's the male lead and also gets the girl at the end. So Val.
The girl.
Oh yeah.
Also,
Earl.
It's like Valentine is kind of a cowboy name a little bit, and he's the
cowboy
cowboy of the movie.
Yeah.
I love that he
like
wears the stupid cowboy hat. Like, it really fits Kevin Bacon's face.
It does, yeah. Kevin Bacon's one of those guys who, like, he doesn't have, like, a classically, like, chiseled face. But, like, you know, he's got this sort of, like, plucky, boyish, like, charm to go with it. So, like, he really sells it.
His whole Tammy Lynn Baxter thing is really funny. Like, you go through the movie not thinking that this guy is a total creep. You go through thinking that he's really dumb and that he needs like you know,
to grow up or something.
Yeah, he needs to grow up. You don't think that he's like, ew, he's like a pervert. He's only in it for the legs and the ass. But he is. And it's just a funny intersect of like his stupid list. Long blonde hair, big green eyes, world-class breasts, ass that won't quit, and legs that go all the way up. And
okay, cool.
And Earl's like, they're so dumb. Those girls are so dumb. Ooh, a broken nail. Like, you can't keep them in this line of work. And Rhonda is instantly so much smarter than everybody. Really funny, really kind. There's that scene where she loses her pants and nobody's awkward about it. You know, Miguel gives her new clothes and she's like, "Thank you." And like if anything,
her losing her pants,
like white underwear. It's like, thank you for not.
Like, one thing I love is like, if anything, her losing her pants, it adds to the scene because now she's more exposed and she's got like the embarrassment of losing her pants and then the terror of like having, and also by the way, how freaking amazing.
Ugly and the new pants are so much better. If I can like,
well, because like her old pants were cargos and her new pants are jeans.
They're jeans, and it's such a product placement. It was like jeans and like sort of like Vans.
Oh, that just occurred to me. I don't think there's like any Vans. Product placement in this movie.
There's Coca-Cola.
Well, there's Coke and then there's Ford, right?
There's also a lot of guns. There's a ton of guns. I bet there was a ton
lot of guns.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my god, the best moment in the whole movie.
Okay.
The best moment in the whole movie. The graboids are
oh my god, we have to talk about that.
Bert and Heather, and they run out of ammo and their 2 guns, and it's like, oh no, they're gonna get eaten. And then the camera pans over and there's an entire wall of guns.
That is okay. So the scene with the doctor and his wife is the best. It's the best scene in the movie, right? But that's the best like moment in the movie is like
that could have been a short film.
that could have been. It was so good.
Yeah. It should be a GIF, really. It's like when somebody's like, they have nothing left to give, and you come with all the fucking receipts, and it's like,
oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. It's like you talking shit, me with the receipts. So I'm good. So I am interested though. So Matt, for those of you that don't know, Matt is a filmmaker. He actually had what is your short film out or is it coming out? Like
well, it's done, but I can't I can't like put it online yet because it's still in the film the film festival circuit. Even though there isn't really a film festival circuit at the moment because of coronavirus. Are they doing like
digital screenings of it? Is there any place people can see it?
I love digital screenings. It's great.
Honestly, I'm thinking of just putting it out because I'm getting sick of just waiting through all this.
Screw the system. Bucking the system.
Give me the people.
I mostly want people to watch it. you know.
That's fair.
That's why you make a movie. That is
Yeah,
Totally.
and no one's watching it right now, so.
So I actually wanted to get your opinion on like technically like the filmmaking in this film, because I thought it was really slick and really well done, but I wanted to know if there were any cool techniques that maybe we might not have noticed that probably jumped out to you.
Okay. So I mostly, I guess, was looking at this from the screenwriting standpoint.
Yeah.
And you guys kind of already touched upon that, how there was a lot of like setup and payoff. Like this movie was really good about that. Like
the
excellent.
parallels were very well executed.
I actually, until you recommended this movie to me, I thought this movie was gonna be crap. I thought like,
which is fair.
It looks like it. It's got a ripoff of Jaws cover. Like,
yeah.
where are you gonna go with
guys, the monster on the cover isn't a graboid.
It's not.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna be way bigger. I thought they were gonna be like
of the movie. No,
what am I forgetting?
No, look, seriously. No, look it up. You're gonna lose your mind. They're not huge. A graboid. It's a different animal.
It's very odd.
Here we go. Oh my God, you're right. I forgot about that. It's got so much teeth. Oh, you know what that is? That's the tongue.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the tongues.
So just pointed something out. It's literally the Alaskan bullworm from SpongeBob.
Oh, no,
yeah, I was reading that. Someone wrote that.
Because oh, that's its tongue, and then it zooms out. It's like, oh, the big thing.
It's very true.
That kind of feeds in to the beginning scare. Like they don't have teeth, like the tongues, and nor do the you know what I mean, like the individual graboids. Like the tongues are the three little guys who hook you and pull you in, as Earl says. But like that on the cover is one of the tongue worm things. It's got hooks, and in the beginning you think that it's just those worms until, like Val's like, it must be 1 million of them, because it like slowly rises out of the sand or something. And then its head goes like, and then Earl's like, nope, just one. And then they start running. Like, that is the big twist moment. It's got 3 lower jaws and 3 tongues, and it just screams all the time. Like, what a great monster. And on the other side, it's just a big fat worm.
Well, so with regards to what you said, Matt, right, about how like you would have expected this movie to be crap, like this is a kind of movie that they don't really make much anymore, if at all.
I don't know if it's possible anymore.
Well,
I don't know if we're in that world anymore.
It's a specific kind of film that I made up a name for it, right? So you got Saturday morning cartoons, you got midnight movies. This is a Saturday afternoon movie.
This is
totally what it is.
Like you wake up, you've had breakfast, maybe you watch something in the morning, and
you
it's
do
the
something
afternoon.
For an hour.
You don't really have anything going on. Let's watch a movie, and like, because like it rewards you for paying attention to it, but it's just kind of fun to have on in the background.
Yeah, you don't even completely need to pay attention, but it's good to pay attention.
Yes.
I mean, that's why I've watched it like 400 times. It's because it's an easy movie.
Yes, it's easy watching.
So Matt, Emma's the kind of person who can just watch like shows and movies over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
I'm like that too.
There was a summer when like they, I thought it was just Emma.
Just me. Yeah, we watched Matilda like every day.
Over and over again every day. I can't watch it anymore because it's like the Danny DeVito movie from the 90s. Like there was
sorry. I was thinking of Madeline. I don't know why I was thinking of Madeline.
No, Matilda, the
of course,
Wilson.
Matilda.
Madeline never entered this house.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's an odd movie. But Matilda makes more sense.
I have something to say about that. Okay. Danny DeVito, the mother of the actress who played Matilda, she had cancer while they were making that movie, and Danny DeVito personally drove the actress who played Matilda back and forth from the hospital constantly, and made sure that the movie came out before her mom died so that she could watch it.
Wow.
Did her mom end up passing away, or?
Yeah, I think she did.
Oh no, sucks.
Bro, Danny DeVito really stepped in. Also, he's the narrator and the evil dad. Like,
that's great.
Yeah, he's a really good guy, actually.
And the director.
That man is he's a gift to the world.
Enough said about Matilda.
Yes, enough said about Matilda. We're done with Matilda forever.
I do have to say something though that I think is very interesting. The moment when Nestor and Miguel are not comprehending how big these things are and how you can't kill them like you would one of the mouthworm things. You know, Nestor's like, any one of those things comes near me, I'm just gonna hit it with a 5-pound pickaxe. And then later they literally do hit one with a 5-pound pickaxe.
Every single thing comes back.
The tongue takes it out.
Like even I thought it was interesting. Even like the pogo stick thing came back. Like it's just,
I know.
Like, you didn't even think of it, and all of a sudden this. Well, you're also kind of thinking, what are you doing? Why are you pogo sticking? Everyone's freaking out.
But then you're like, that seems like a really organic kid thing. Like, oh, everything is scary. Let me just go do a fun thing for a bit.
Yeah, then but I mean, she doesn't even know. She doesn't know about it because she's just been playing. She's had her headphones in and she's been pogo sticking literally the entire movie. Up until that point, she does not know what is going on. She doesn't know what's happening.
Which has got to be a surprise to her, yeah.
I mean, she knows about the tongue snake thing. But it did happen a distance away. She doesn't think that they're there. That moment when Miguel's like, maybe they won't even come through here. Maybe they'll leave us alone. And Val's like, no, we are a smorgasbord. That was like the introducing moment that I learned the word smorgasbord, by the way. I was I don't even know how to spell it, but it's a great word.
Introduce us to.
I'm really surprised at how much of this movie you have memorized.
No, I am too. I didn't know that you had this much of the movie memorized.
You shouldn't be shocked because I can really go through all of it. Good morning, Mr. Bassett. This is your wake-up call. Please move your ass. Oh my God! Almost forgot. One of my favorite moments in the entire movie.
Okay.
Is when Rhonda, at the very end, when they're off the rock and they're running and Val's about to blow up the last one, right? Rhonda, like, they both, like, Val's like, I'm gonna do it. And Earl's like, do what? And then Val just starts running, and Earl's like, what? And then the graboid jumps out of the sand near him, and he's like, ah! And he starts running, and they're both running, and Earl's like, what are you doing? And Val's like, I got a goddamn plan!
I love that part too, yeah,
like,
it's so good.
Where's the lighter? And Rhonda sticks her whole arm down her pocket, because it's deep, and finds the lighter. And she's like, I've got it! But, like, she's only with, like, first of all, that's amazing. Second of all, she's only with them for, like, 2 days. And all of a sudden, like, she's part of their little duo, and she has the lighter. Like, that's really
great.
They, like, they established it in the beginning when Val and Earl are both patting all of their pockets for the cigarettes and for the lighter. And as the time goes on, they're patting their pockets for the lighter, for the bombs.
Shit. Oh my God. Well, another thing that kind of surprised me about this movie was
really appreciated the fact that, like, you know, they weren't like, some girl, she can't join our duo, the duo that's been for a long time. Like, Earl really wants Val to get this girl. And
I like his little looks whenever they're, like, interacting. He's like,
he's like,
he's hitting him with the classic Fred Word smoky eye.
Literally smoky eye. So
which
funny.
I gotta be honest though, like Fred Ward aged like a freaking wine. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, the dude,
so attractive.
He looks almost exactly the same as he did back in the day, except that he's a bit grayer.
He has really long hair in Tremors Aftershocks. And
Tremors is one of those movies that, like, the second one is the one that, like, you find at like 5 a.m. when you woke up too early.
Yes.
And, like, you're trying to kill time.
Yes.
And it
is a Sunday at 2 a.m. movie. It is Aftershocks.
It is a mistake.
A new genre.
New genre.
Yeah, it's one of those films where, like, because, like, I think the only thing comparable now would technically be, like, a Blumhouse movie, because, like, those are all fairly low budget movies that come out and get turned into sequel. So,
Blumhouse
like,
movies, that's like Get Out and, like,
nice.
I think
Get Out, Unfriended, Insidious.
Invisible Man, also that.
What's up?
Invisible Man, wasn't that Blumhouse?
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. Like he makes all the horror movies nowadays.
Yeah, he's the reason why we have good horror movies now.
Yes, well, he's the reason why we have horror movies. Period. Honestly.
Yeah.
Did he make No, not The Conjuring. No, I think it was The Conjuring. Was that the one with Ethan Hawke and his family, and there's, like, the jump scares and stuff?
I think The Conjuring, wasn't that the one with
Oh no, Sinister. Sinister is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
what I was gonna say. I think Conjuring is the one with that guy.
There's a lot of, like,
That
With
one
that guy.
guy.
Oh, that
The
guy.
guy from
I
that
know the
band.
That's what
guy.
he always plays. He always plays just that guy. He's like that, like boring white dude. He's
Tony
that in every
Shalhoub had
movie.
this thing he said in an interview where he's like,
Love Tony Shalhoub.
"Oh, we stand Tony Shalhoub.
Stan Tony Shalhoub.
He looks like if our dad was Jewish, despite the fact that he himself is not actually Jewish."
No, you mean Mr. Maisel?
Mr.
Or
Maisel.
Not
Abe.
Maisel.
Abe.
Yeah, what's his name? Weiss. Abe
Oh,
Weiss. Mr. Weiss.
No, Weissman, I think. Is it Weissman? Weissman, yes.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
we also.
of Janet Weiss
That's
from
okay.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's been a long day.
Everyone's always thinking of Janet Weiss.
You know what's stupid? The song You Better Wise Up, Janet Weiss is not in the soundtrack for that movie. It's one of the best songs. It's like 45 seconds and it's not in the goddamn soundtrack.
That's fair. Anyway, back to the movie that we're actually talking about. One
Yeah.
thing that I thought was surprising was like, so this guy directed another movie that was huge back in the day that I distinctly remember watching and cannot for the life of me remember anything about it. And that, believe it or not, is actually Mighty Joe Young.
Yeah, I saw that. I looked up his
Yeah.
IMDb.
Yeah, he also directed Mighty Joe Young, and I'm going to be totally honest, I haven't the slightest clue what the hell that movie is about, and I've probably seen it a few times.
I'm curious if you remember this too. All I remember from that movie, I don't even know I saw the whole thing. I might have had it on TV at one point.
Yeah.
But it was like there's a gorilla and he's in a truck that has like holes in the back of it.
Oh, I think I do remember
puts his
that.
fingers through it.
I do, yeah.
That's all
I'm
I
like,
remember,
okay, so
though.
he's a big gorilla, and it's not King Kong, but
Not
it is King Kong. But he's just like, he's not even like a oh my god, that's a big gorilla, like even in like the 06 King Kong, and certainly not like in Kong Skull Island. He's like this gorilla is about 5 or 6 times bigger than your average gorilla. Isn't that cool?
He's pretty mighty.
Like, yeah, like it's not.
There's the difference between dangerous and mighty, and it
Mighty.
is approximately
Mighty.
100 feet.
Well,
Oh.
well, and then there's a difference between mighty and king. That's about 50 feet. You don't have to go that much higher to be king. But then to have no title at all and just that's your name, like then you have to be like 700 feet tall.
Yeah. 300 more feet.
300 more feet. Yeah, there's no spectrum.
Desmond,
Yes.
jumping off of what you're talking, like just like the filmography of the creators.
Yes, coming back to the actual question.
Yes.
Well, something I noticed. So I decided to watch a bit of the behind the scenes of the movie prior to
Love that.
all, and I apparently the way they got to make this movie was because they made Short Circuit beforehand.
Wait, they made Short Circuit?
Yeah, the writers of this movie made Short Circuit, and they were like, "Hey, what movie do you want to make next?" And they're like, this movie Land Sharks, and it became Tremors.
Well, I'm glad they didn't call it Land Sharks because that would have just been inviting a lot of ridicule.
What the hell is Short Circuit? I just looked it up and
it's a really dumb movie.
We only know it because we followed. We only know it because we followed. Oh God, no! There's a white guy in it who plays an Indian, and it goes about the way that you expect.
Like an Indian or an indigenous person?
No, Indian.
Oh,
Indian accent and everything. They don't put him in brown face, but let me tell you, man, it might have been a little better if they at least tried. Oh, God.
Fun fact, Will Ferrell did brownface in Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
Yes, he did.
Very, very visible. I watched the first 10 minutes the other day with my friend because my friend was like, I've never seen it before. Let's watch. And I was like,
did you find out? Oh, that's why.
I was like, I don't think you're going to like it. I don't remember why I don't like it, but I don't like it. And then we hit play. We were like, oh my God, his name is Mustafa and he's pretending to be of the quote Orient. Like, this is bad.
The 90s were a weird time.
They cast Alec Guinness as Faisal in Lawrence of Arabia, and like I mean they do him up so he does look a little bit like an Arabian like royalty member, but he's also literally British, which is a little weird considering that the British are in that movie using I don't know, whatever.
I always thought it was just so short-sighted to do anything like that. Like, I just don't get it. Just get an actor of that ethnicity.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, Emma's gonna drop some knowledge bombs on us then. Right.
Okay.
Here's the thing. There's about 8 different things that I can say to this. Number one. To a white supremacist attitude, why get a brown person to do something when you could prove that a white person can do it better? as that brown person.
Yeah, definitely.
Second of all, we have the name brand person. Why do we want to give somebody else an opportunity? Second of all, we don't want to give actual representation. We want to control the representation that we give, and a brown person would fight us on some of these representations. Let's have the white person do it.
I mean, yeah.
Fourth of all,
there's four.
Nobody's going to get hired if your name is not easily pronounceable. Fifth of all, white supremacy. Second of all,
this list has different numbers.
It does. She goes A, 2, and D. She experiences social justice the way that like the heptapods experience time in Arrival.
I haven't seen Arrival yet.
Ooh, you haven't?
No!
Ooh, okay.
Dude,
Next episode we do with Matt is gonna be Arrival.
Okay.
It's very dark. It's one of those movies where it's very dark and it's very physically.
But we're not going to get into it now because we're talking about a different monster movie.
Oh yes, we're talking about the Tremors.
I just mean it's really, really dark visually. Like
I know it is, but ironically, not
movies. They're so dark.
Hey, that's another thing too. This movie, which is a horror movie set in the desert, is surprisingly. I think they do a smart thing where like. There like the scene with the doctor is genuinely horrifying, and like when they find the guy stuck on the the power line,
Edgar Deebs, he only wears that one damn jacket. It's him, I'm telling you. Oh my god, the rock paper scissors.
What are you doing? Oh, and then there's the scene with like the sheep and the guy, and they all get eaten by the craboids and whatnot. Yeah, I know, and like it's genuinely scary, but it also. Like it shows us what these people are up against, and they do such a good job establishing who they are that like you can kind of assume how they're going to react to it. And you also can kind of, now you're like, okay, so how are they going to escape? Because they're all really smart people and they all have all these resources. They don't have a lot, but they have some. How are they going to use them to their advantage? And like watching them like respond to the situation. I think that like I don't think like the humorous moments clash with the horrific moments just because
they're very, very well written.
Well, they're also natural. I think like they all really fit into like who the characters are. And so like you know, them taking time out of like a stressful situation for Fred to try to play matchmaker, not Fred, Earl to try to play matchmaker with Val and Trish, Rhonda. Right?
Rhonda. Yeah.
Trish.
I don't know. I have names.
I love that Rhonda has the sunscreen on her nose.
Yes. Oh my God. She's got a bit of a Larry the Lobster thing.
She's literally there as a grad student, and you don't have to worry about her looking young or being young because graduate school is something you can do at any time and any age. You know
I'm going to be doing later this year. So there you go.
Ooh,
this is what a grad student looks like.
Like an adult, but you know. Just young, generally a young adult, and I really appreciate that in her. Yeah,
I also appreciate
you're
that, like
showing that Kevin Bacon is a young adult. They're well matched for their age together. Like, you know what I mean? She's
a person, he's alive. You know, bam.
Yeah.
No, but another thing that also totally, but better. Yes, So Matt, I wanted to also get your opinion on a few things. So you and I watched a lot of Supernatural when we lived together in college. Whole lot.
Wait, like the show Supernatural?
Yeah, the show. Yes. Matt is the person who introduced me to Supernatural.
I know that show.
Oh, you know that show.
Big yikes.
No, so
Big yikes.
So one thing that I really
5 it kind of fell off.
Yeah, honestly, after season 4 kind of fell off. Yeah,
season 4 was when Cass was introduced, and as much as I love Misha Collins and Cass as a character,
it's too much.
The combination of angels and demons does not work.
That's like my least favorite trope in fiction, actually, is the angels war between heaven. Yeah, angels fighting demons. I'm like, that's the most simplistic RTS video game mentality you could have for that. It makes no sense.
Very dumb.
So I will say this with season 5. I think there's some really good episodes in there, and I think they came into their own visually that season. But I totally agree. And I remember when the last episode of that season aired, I went on IMDb when they had the forums. I used to write on the forums on there.
Yeah, he was a dedicated IMDb-er.
Oh, yes. Back in the day, I was very sad when it went away, but not really because it was toxic as fuck. But
oh, hell yeah,
no. I wrote a whole thing that said, I wish they never did Angels and Demons. It ruined the show. I'm so upset.
It did.
No, so one
It was
thing
great
that,
when it was just
as
like
much as I
Wendigos and
love,
werewolves and love potions and shit, you know?
well, so
It
as
was
much as I
funny.
love like the old Supernatural, I think my favorite episode that we watched together was Roadkill.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Roadkill, classic.
that's the one where there's the lady who was in the car accident and there's a ghost chasing her, Emma. It's like it's in season 2.
There's a big twist at the end.
Big twist at the end, yeah.
I don't
I
remember.
I remember audibly saying "whoa" when they revealed the twist.
Was
The
it
House of the Rising Sun is on the radio and it keeps coming on when they go near her. I think that's a thing.
Probably.
Seems very
You're more of a
supernatural to do
classic
that.
rock guy than I am, so that seems like a you thing. No, but like my thing is like one thing that I love about this movie is that like it doesn't quite like draw a lot of attention to the horror. Like it does show you the horror moments because they're really good special effects.
Like it doesn't. Yeah, it's a very very well like the ominousness. Like there's the shots of like a little hill and like a little bit of sand moving, and you're like, ooh, something's underground.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Ugh. And then like the moment where like there's a killer on the loose. A man real psycho. He's cutting people's heads off. I'm not kidding. And he's like, they're pulling our chain. And he's like, yeah.
And then he literally gets pulled.
Yeah, literally.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's right.
No, but the thing that moment is, you know that there's something underground because Fred just got pulled underground. And you as the audience can get a little bit more of a sense of what's going on because the camera is showing you things related to the ground. And
also you can put stuff together like Rhonda was just saying, hey, there are these weird tremors going all over the place. And I'm like, oh, she said the name of the movie. That's so cool.
And well, she said
seismic activity. Whatever. Seismic activity is nerd for Tremors. So
what a great name for a movie, Seismic Activity. Normal activity.
If it was made now, that's what it would be called.
It would have been called They Came From Down Below.
And it would be really serious, and it would be very gritty.
And there would be lots of like crying blonde girls with large breasts. And they would be
so funny.
There would be one at the very end because she's a really strong.
They had to be quiet.
It's like if Dune. It's like if The Quiet Place was written by oh my god, what the hell is his name? The author of Dune. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
I love like the feminine. Oh, what's up?
I don't know if you noticed this, but I tried to dress like Kevin Bacon for this.
Oh my god!
Oh, I get it. Yes,
you
totally.
do look like him.
Yeah, I thought it'd be funny. I knew I had the shirt,
perfect.
so
it's absolutely perfect. I'd like to think that I look like Melvin if he were alive and vibing today.
Oh,
like a total douche.
Fair enough.
I mean, he didn't die or anything in the movie.
I was gonna say, I don't think Melvin died.
Like a douche.
No, but I mean, if he were like a person, I meant to say if he were real and well. You know what I mean? My bad.
I see.
He looks like, oh god, this is gonna be Emma. You're not gonna get this, right?
That's fine. Go ahead. I might get it.
Well, I will say, okay, you're familiar with the video creator Lindsay Ellis, right?
No.
Oh, you're not
really? Oh my god, she's
okay.
Fantastic.
No, so she started off. Okay, Matt, did you see one of her first episodes when she was doing Nostalgia Chick back in the day? Was for Teen Witch.
I don't know if I watched that one.
Oh, okay. Well, there are these really bad. I don't need to say these really bad. There are these white rappers in that movie. Like it's a direct-to-DVD spiritual successor to Teen Wolf. And it's about as good as you would expect. But like these really bad, like they look like they're in like their mid-20s and they're playing high school students, like white rappers. And Melvin looks like he would be one of them. Like he would just be like standing because like they'll stand there.
Like
in the
if
street.
he knew what rap was,
if
he would be all over that.
I bet like he was listening to rap the whole time. Like I forgot. Did he have like a Walkman or something?
No, that was just Mindy.
Mindy.
I bet she was probably listening to like Run DMC or something.
Oh yeah.
It was also interesting, like the Boy Who Cried Wolf thing that he kept doing.
Which again kept bringing, yeah.
Yeah. Like he's like, Melvin, get your butt down from there, and then he's like, oh my god, he wouldn't be up on a sign if there was like not a legitimate reason for that. Oh god,
Melvin actually tried. We're gonna die, everybody.
Good god.
Good god. Good god, y'all. What's Tremors good?
Good god,
everything. Yeah. No,
it's actually interesting you brought up Supernatural though, because I think we were kind of saying that movies like this don't tend to come out anymore, but Supernatural has a lot of episodes that have a similar kind of tone.
They do.
Where it's horror, but it's kind of fun.
It's Val and Earl. They're handymen that just go around from community to community.
Exactly. No wonder I like it so much.
Holy shit! Yes, that's right.
I kept thinking they could make an entire movie just out of them like fixing things, and I would love it.
Yeah. They could do a YouTube series of them teaching everybody how to make
Oh my god, I would pay. Like, dude, we got to get behind that. We got to start a production company get Fred Ward. And they're not old. They're not old. Okay, guys like that don't get old. They become seasoned. Okay,
they're seasoned.
I think
it's not a problem to get old. It's just like, do I want to do a YouTube series of Val and Earl? Like,
I think Fred is like 70 or something now.
77.
77?
That's so much.
He's
older than the president. Holy shit!
Wow.
He's older.
My God.
Although I would argue,
age.
Yeah.
Big cringe.
Okay,
God. Tremors, though. Quickly, go back to Tremors.
Back to Tremors.
We can't make it political.
We can't for our own sanity and no other reason.
For our own sanity. Yeah, just ignore the fucking.
It's also weird that like I would
focus on the movie.
One thing that I think is cool about Tremors is like I feel like it's storytelling the way that like a group of like 8-year-olds tell stories when they're playing outside with sticks. Like
totally.
They've got all this stuff and they have a limited amount of possibilities for the story.
That's honestly
what are we gonna do?
That was one of the things that I was gonna say before about like about the budget of the movie.
Yeah.
They worked sparingly. Like they didn't have like the National Guard come in and all the money goes towards having an attack helicopter. Like they have old cars. The most expensive stuff you can tell is Bert and Heather's house. And like his car,
and even then, their stuff is expensive. Like you can't see the money that's in their house, right?
No,
like
but I mean, like you know that the budget went to the special effects and the weapons for those special effects. But like Val and Earl have like the car that they've piled full of stuff is just the stuff that they own. It's not like luxury things. Like Kevin Bacon has the one hat and he wears it, and like,
actually he has two.
He has the two hats, and he wears one.
The two hats.
And,
he loses one.
Rhonda has Rhonda has a truck. She's got the 3 seismograph things. You know that she's got a bunch all over the valley, but you only ever see like
she has the one outfit, which makes sense. Like
the doctor's house is just wood piles because it's not finished yet. Like the budget is very clearly not like there's the water tower is basically like.
I will say this. I think the budget it definitely went to some of the special effects, but it probably mostly went to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
He's
the star of the movie.
Good old Kevin Bacon.
He's went to the actors first and foremost. But it's also interesting that there's like not a lot of actors. Like they just focus lot on the movie, and it's like whoa!
It's a tiny ass town in the Southwest. Like the thing is, like we were driving through, like we were on the bus taking us through Dolan Springs, and like. There are a lot of really crappy rundown cars over there, but they're there because shipping anything that far away from the shipping infrastructure is really expensive. So why not just get a thing, have it sit there, and then you'll use what you need from it. And like the houses are all pretty, like they're spread around and it's this wide open area, but like there isn't a whole lot there. Mm-hmm. And so you can imagine that if there was something even as relatively small as one of these graboids. Because, like, if they were around a heavily populated area, they'd be dead in, like, 2 minutes, right?
No, of course. But the graboids don't want to be around a heavily populated area because they're too sensitive. And they want to have the easy pickings.
They put their hands over their...
They have their niche, and they will stay there.
Oh, maybe the...
They also can't get through the mountains. They mentioned that. They can't get through the mountains.
That's true.
Yeah, the granite.
Well, maybe the secret is to living harmoniously with graboids is inventing earplugs for them. So, like...
They don't have ears.
How would you get them on?
Well, just Photoshop. Photoshopping it all off.
You could build like, oh my god, you could build like a silicone like hat to like put on their heads to protect their sensitive little.
That's adorable.
Yeah, and then they'd be like, oh, this is so much better. We were just mad at you guys for making noise. This is so much better.
They were hungry. They were eating them.
Oh, you know what? It just occurred to me. It's funny because I mentioned Gareth Edwards earlier. This is literally like the premise for how the monsters show up is sort of like the premise for how like Godzilla wakes up in that movie. because like all of the nuclear tests and all of like the explosions and stuff wake him up in the movie. And for this, it's like, oh, I guess he was just attracted to all of our activity on the ground.
Honestly, though, I think that they just came into existence. I don't think that they woke up.
Oh, definitely.
Like Rhonda mentions, she's like, so they predate the fossil record. They've been here for billions of years, and we just have never seen them until.
I was going to ask Emma if you knew what the lore behind them was, because it seems like you've seen. No, they don't ever explain it.
I don't think I will ever watch.
I have not looked into anything. I have kept it as my Saturday afternoon movie that I just watch without asking questions. Though I do personally believe what Earl says. No way these boys are local. I vote for outer space. Like
I agree. I totally agree.
That's there because I mean they cannot possibly evolve the way that they are supposedly supposed to evolve. Like in the second movie, they just go from under the ground to having legs and being 2 feet.
That I think kind of stems from the average population's like Pokemon level understanding of evolution. Like people think that like evolution
Pokemon aren't real. Unfortunately.
Well, I know, but they tend to think that evolution, if they do accept it, they do tend to think it's a series of like upgrades, right? Because it's like in every video game there's like a tech tree, and then like you get higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
But it's not all it is it's you slowly becoming more accustomed to very gradual changes in your environment. Yeah. And that's why drastic changes can happen. They just don't happen quickly, right? So like the accurate thing to call it would be like, oh, they mutated or something.
Yeah, but I mean, there's definitely no way that could have happened because
of course not. No.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 100 of them all of a sudden.
Maybe,
it's like, I think it's outer space.
Have you ever seen this really weird movie from like, I think it was like the early to mid 2000s called Evolution?
No.
Ooh, okay. I haven't seen the whole thing yet, but I know how it ends, and it happens kind of the same way that like the mutations happen in Tremors 2, because like it starts off there are these weird little worm things that land in this asteroid, and they're growing in a cave. And then like they leave to go and do some tests and stuff, and they come back, and there's this entire alien ecosystem out there. And they're like, oh, well, we're safe because they can't breathe oxygen. And then they mutate into these dragon monsters that can breathe oxygen. They're like, oh shit, how are we going to save the day? And the way to save the day is the most amazing act of product placement I've ever seen in my entire life. It is.
They use Coca-Cola and melt the dragons.
Dude, I wish it was that logical. It is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure level of absolute insanity.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
What is it?
You're just going to leave us in suspense? Tell us how they fucking kill the dragons.
Oh, okay, fine.
You never said it.
So what happens is they find that there is a certain chemical composition that will just pop them like zits. And that chemical composition is Head and Shoulders shampoo.
Oh, wow.
That's Coca-Cola was close though. That was like
I was gonna say Mountain Dew next.
No,
because we all know that Mountain Dew is birth
so they
control.
use Head and Shoulders, and then it ends with them doing like a cheesy like parody commercial for Head and Shoulders on the top of a mountain. Like, when I want to save the world and prevent dandruff, I use Head and Shoulders. And I'm like,
what is this movie?
We should all watch it in full and talk about it on the next episode or something.
Makes my heart hurt just thinking about that.
Oh,
Evolution.
It's a yes.
I have something to say.
Yes, Emma, you have a question for the class?
Yes, I do. Well, not a question, but a statement.
I have a statement too.
The moment when, in the beginning, before so much has happened, Bert mentions, he's like, they're talking about the college girl, because they don't really know her name yet, Rhonda, whoever that is. And Bert's like, you know them college kids out there trying to boil uranium or something? The feds will be up on our ass. Sorry, gotta move.
Okay.
Eminent domain.
Okay, hang on.
No, that is what taught me what the fuck eminent domain was. And I was in AP Gov, and we were learning about eminent domain, and I was like, Bert has prepared me for this moment in my life. Okay. I know what
just
I'm
for
talking
entertainment.
About now.
Okay, so here's
great.
All right, Matt, we're gonna play a game now. You and I are gonna play a game. We're gonna be challenging Emma on this, right?
Okay.
So here's the game, Emma. We're gonna give you a scene, and you need to recount as much of the dialogue as is humanly possible, right?
I'm on it.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit you with an easy one, right? So It's the scene where they're in the pickup, and they go and they find out about Rhonda, and then they race over to go see her. So like that whole scene leading up to them meeting Rhonda.
Okay. So Earl says, no. Val says, hey, that's not that what's his name, that grad student. And then Earl's like, nah, I graduated. And then it must be the new one. And then Val goes, new one? That's supposed to be a girl. And then he like wrenches the wheel over and like guns it, and he goes, woo! You will have long blonde hair, big green eyes, world-class breasts, ass that won't quit, and legs that go all the way up. And then they get there, and then she comes over and she's like, hi, I'm Rhonda LeBeck. And Earl's like, hello, or whatever. And Val's so clearly disappointed because she's a brunette and she's a regular human person. Anyway.
And has sunscreen on her nose.
She's got the Larry the Lobster game going on.
Got a floppy hat. We love a floppy hat.
We do. All right, Matt, well, what is the scene that you will be challenging Emma to?
Okay, let me think. Let's go with the best scene. The scene where the doctor, right? Is it the doctor who dies?
Yeah, the doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
The whole scene?
Well, I don't know.
I can
well,
do it.
We'll see where we get. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
So, all right, I'm trying to find the exact moments of where to begin.
She's rewinding the VCR in her head.
I'm literally rewinding the VCR. So,
I miss VCRs.
I do too.
We open onto the doctor's property of land. Gross. There's a cop outside. Ugh. Driving around like a fucking asshole. So
that's the actual line
not in
for the
Tremors.
movie.
It's not in Tremors.
That was just that's me looking out my window. So we open onto the dark evening area. You see all of everything, and the doctor's wife says something like, the doctor says, ugh, I'm beat. And the wife says, just keep looking at that beautiful sky that's going to be over our roof every night when we're done. And he says, well, what if we don't finish the roof? Then we can look at the stars every night. And then they laugh, and then the generator goes out. Oh, they also mention at some point we have to go to Bigsby tomorrow. Yes. Because the cinder blocks are in. The cinder blocks. And then the generator goes out, and he goes, that damn thing. And then he gets up and walks over to it, and she says, maybe it's time we buy a new generator, huh? And he goes, it's gone. She's like, what do you mean it's gone? And she walks over and he says, it's gone. It was right here. And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, yes, there's the cord. And he starts pulling it out. And he's like, maybe it was swallowed up by a sinkhole or something. And she's like, well, then you don't want to fall in. And she helps him up, and he's like, what? And it's like, stops right there. And he's like, oh my God. And then and like the geyser gets spit out of the ground with all of the sand. And they're like, oh, why does it smell so bad? Speaking of which, we should talk about why they smell so bad. And
sure, we should.
And he's like, wow, like, did you see that? Maybe it's like a geyser, because like a natural gas or a geyser or something, they stink like that, you remember in Yellowstone? And she's like, Bill, come on. And then he like gets sucked to the ground, and he's like, ah! And she's like, Bill, no! And she's like trying to pull him out of the ground, and she brings over like a post, and he's trying, and then the post snaps in half somehow.
it's a piece of 2x6x8 lumber. So
yeah, got her.
I meant a post as in a post of wood. I can't speak. I'm sorry.
That's
anyways,
fine.
The piece of wood snaps in half, which is humanly impossible, but it's to show you the force at which he is being dragged under the ground. And then he gets pulled underground, and she's like digging in the sand. She's like, Bill. And then the tongue comes out, and it like scratches her face, and she's like, ah! And then she like runs into the car, and then somehow the radio in the car gets turned on. And the radio's like, when in those Texas rain, I'm all alone at a table for two, just me and the candlelight.
Have you seen Parks and Rec by chance?
Yes, I have.
With Andy Dwyer, how he like can recount movies. You are him. That's.
that episode, and I was like, I want to do that. I want that to be my
And you're
job.
doing it now. You're living your dreams.
I'm living my dreams. Catch your dreams.
There you go.
Anyways, yeah, so that's basically the whole season.
The whole season.
Scene.
The whole
That's
season.
the whole scene, and then she gets sucked down, and her scream is like and like interlaced with the flashing of the headlights as they get buried by sand.
Which I'd actually forgotten about that scene until I rewatched it. And I can't believe I did because like it's so well done. Actually,
it's very well done.
Here's another thing too, and I believe you would all agree with me, right? Especially Mr. Gerrish. I feel
Mr.
like
Garnish?
they wouldn't
Mr.
Garnish.
Garnish.
Mr. Garnish.
So
It's my stage name.
When he was up here for my wedding, we were at a restaurant and the person accidentally referred to him as Garnish, and that just
it was the rehearsal for the
rehearsal.
wedding
That's
party,
right, Garnish.
and the woman
That's right.
who was officiating your wedding called him Garnish,
I don't
and we
know
were all
why.
like, Matt Garnish. And she was like, I'm so sorry, I read that wrong. And
I'm
we were all like, that's it, that's your name now, fucking Matt Garnish.
It was really helpful.
I forgot about that until now.
It was really helpful
forgot?
because the
I
only
actually
other person
was Matt.
there
were two Matts.
There were
Matt
two
Silverman
Matts.
and Matt Gerrish.
And we're like,
so
we need
just
to
went
refer
from Matt to Garnish.
So we're like, so we have Garnish and Silverman. And we're like, it's so much easier.
So
Anyway,
easy.
so I feel like all the beats in
You've
this
been
movie.
reduced to a food, my good sir.
One is a metal,
decorative food
one
is
is a
that.
food.
I'm a decorative food. Behold.
Decorative green leaf. Though Matthew
Anyways,
Greenleaf
Des, you
is
were
two
saying
things.
something
I
about
don't feel like all
Dr.
of like
Sane.
I don't feel like all the stuff in this movie would have made it into the actual movie if it had been made now. I feel like they would have like decompressed it and they would have made it like one or two, maybe even three different movies. Like the first one is them like them encountering the worms and fighting them off or whatever. And then the next one is the worms coming back and like attacking them and going, okay, we got to leave. And then the whole movie is them in the trailer, like driving to the
That'd be boring as
to
fuck.
the border.
Though.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is like an hour and a half long, so like
Yeah.
there's only so much they could like spread out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Maybe that's more of a comic book thing because decompression is
Yeah.
a very serious
Comic book
problem
for sure.
in modern
Yeah.
comic books.
I mean, like you can see that with The Shining. There's too much like.
Oh, it's a long book too.
It's
though.
no, the book is amazing, and it starts off kind of boring because you have to get the exposition. But then pretty soon, all of the horror stuff catches up, and it more than overcompensates for that slightly boring beginning. The movie does none of that. It's
the movie
very
is
boring. It's like it's not a Stephen King book movie. It's a Kubrick movie
Yes.
from a book.
Stephen King
it's
was
not
actually
mine.
famously he was dissatisfied with that. That's why they ended up doing the TV adaptation.
Yeah,
I
think he
agree.
also was
I mean-
dissatisfied with the way the character was done because he
Yeah.
All of the characters, they were not done properly. Also, I mean, fucking the main female actress was abused by the director and the
Oh,
main
Which yeah,
Shelley
that's
Duvall.
true.
actor.
But
But anyways,
yeah,
going back to
Kubrick
Tremors,
was a crazy man.
Kubrick is a crazy.
he was a
Um,
crazy boy.
Well, actually, something go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah,
I've been
you go
talking
ahead.
So much.
Emma's been
All
talking
right.
a lot, so we
I talk so much.
Yes.
Well, what I noticed, I don't know. Are you guys have you guys seen like John Carpenter movies by chance?
don't
I
think
actually
so.
haven't.
I don't know who
No.
that is.
Really?
Okay, so
Oh my god!
ever heard of
he's
The
so
Thing,
good.
Emma?
The Thing,
The Thing, not the
Like the-
Fantastic Four thing.
like the
so-
evil thing, like
no,
like the
The-
movie
the-
of the double-headed
so
T-Rex.
No.
Matt's,
love that
I
movie.
bet Matt's actually seen it. So Matt, like, tell
I
us
have seen it.
a little bit about The Thing by
The
John
Thing.
Carpenter.
The Thing is classic. The Thing is like this movie about this group of researchers in, I think the Arctic, and
I think it's the Antarctic. Or,
It's
I
some
don't know.
cold place where there is lots of snow, and
Maine.
a creature comes in that can shapeshift into anybody, and they can't
That
figure out who
sucks.
is who.
That sucks.
And
That's
it's
a
a
great
really
plot,
cool
but
movie.
that sucks. Ugh.
The cool thing that
Don't
they
you hate
do
it when
with
that happens?
Well, the cool thing they do with it
Yes.
is that like the it doesn't just like magically change into someone like off camera or anything. It changes on camera, and the way it changes is it like rips itself apart and like twists itself into like these
Oh
different.
yeah, it's
Ooh.
crazy.
So like
That's
there's a,
interesting.
yeah,
I love
there's
it when they
there's
do
a
that.
part where like someone's head like it gets caught, so like it cuts its own head off, and then the head grows these legs, and it just starts running all around, and so
Ew.
it's like a face hugger head. it's really cool.
That's so interesting.
I bring up
God.
John Carpenter though because I feel like these guys were inspired by him because
definitely
that's fair.
Very similar length of movie, similar kind of budget. The only real difference is I wouldn't say this movie had like a lot of John Carpenter's movies have a bit of a social commentary going through them.
Yeah.
This really doesn't have one of those.
No, this is a lot more just kind of like.
Which is one of the reasons why it's so easy, is that it doesn't really make you think of anything afterwards except, like, it doesn't leave you pondering something except for, like, oh, they kissed. Oh,
yay.
Follow your dreams.
I would not have guessed that this movie ended, that Tremors ended that way.
No, yeah.
With a kiss that pans out, really.
That's kind of a hallmark of, like, your average, like, Saturday afternoon movie, is that, like, it ends. Yeah. They have happy endings.
It ends in, like, it's a happy ending, but it's kind of, like, really, really small in comparison to
to all of like the death and all of like the bills they're all gonna rack up for therapy.
Dead.
Yeah, half the town is gone.
I mean, the town itself is destroyed. Like there's like what because Chang was the town. Like he was the center of the town, and they ate him.
All of the infrastructure, like not just that Chang got eaten, but also the store got really fucked up. Like there's probably 5 holes in the floor. The ceiling was caving in. The water tower is now, destroyed because Rhonda
no water
kicked
or anything,
it. There's no water, at least no water reserves. The house that Nancy had was all shaken up inside because they were studying the house, so that everything in there is probably destroyed and they probably came through the floor or whatever. Nestor and Melvin's trailer fell over. Oh, Fred is dead, who was, a farmer. The doctor in the town is dead. There's literally nothing there for anybody anymore.
Yeah, Perfection is now a ghost town, basically.
Perfection.
It's about to be, at least.
And you could argue there is no one to be imperfect, so it has finally reached perfection. Ooh.
Okay, no, but I literally, when I first watched it, or when I was, as a kid watching it, Earl says, "Are you going to stand there in broad daylight and tell me that I'm the reason we're still in Perfection? You know how close I am to leaving this town?" I never understood that the town's name was Perfection. So I really did not know what the heck was happening in that line for probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 years. Anyways, thought that I would mention that.
No, yeah, that's funny.
We should talk about why they smell bad.
Yeah, why do they? Is it like
bad?
sulfur or something?
I think it's because they eat people, and people historically in like in Sweeney Todd, like
just like in Sweeney Todd, that
it
piece
smells
of history.
evil when you eat. Sorry. Like when people are eaten or something, or when eating humans or human cooking or human flesh is rotting or whatever, it smells bad. And I think that was kind of a subtle, like because they only eat people. I mean, they also eat the sheep. But I think that it's like there's like a rotting meat smell there.
That's fair. But you could also argue that like most animals
that's been my
smell
thought for a while.
That makes sense to me. And I'd probably argue that like most wild animals smell, and if they spend a lot of time underground with like pockets of natural gas and stuff, then they're probably not gonna smell
for
very
sure
good.
But I mean, it is a central theme that doesn't actually ever get addressed. Is like, man, they smell so bad, and like
that's true.
When they open the thing, like I think Val says, "Man, the live ones smell worse than the dead ones," and it's like, what is that reference to? Like, is that blood? Is that the sand?
I think it's probably just blood.
But it's interesting because so many things have a payoff in this movie, and that's one of the only ones that doesn't.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's a little bit of a loose end that doesn't get tied. But it's like, does it get tied? And we just don't know.
I'm almost glad they didn't, because I like when monsters are mysterious. Like,
I mean, honestly, we don't know where they came from. We don't know why they smell bad. We don't know how long they've ever been there. It's
kind of like, without getting too much into it, we'll get into it when we eventually have you on to discuss it, Matt. But like in Arrival, like you know a lot about the aliens by the end of the movie. You don't know everything, but the point of the movie is they were trying to figure out about who the aliens are. The point of Tremors is they're trying to get out of the town. They're trying to get out of the alien town.
More.
No, you want to go far away from it.
They want to sell them.
Another cool thing that I realized is they look like.
So funny.
I like to think that they are like the larval forms of the aliens from Starship Troopers.
Ew.
Because they look a lot like the giant
forms.
black mantises from Starship Troopers.
Do larval forms tend to smell bad?
That's a good question.
Maybe.
Maybe
do you know any
need
entomologists?
a chrysalis.
Oh, you know what the problem?
Maybe that's where the second
guys,
movie
I figured it out. I know why they smell bad.
Blossom.
I know why. They glow up. The Tremors 17, the glow up.
The glow up is real.
I know why they smell bad. It's because they never used Head and Shoulders shampoo and conditioner.
Wow.
Available at these fine.
You fucking
and
got
reincorporation. I reincorporated it, guys.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Look at you go.
Payoff.
All right. I think we're gonna start wrapping this up now.
Beautiful.
I think we've established that
we've talked about so many things.
We've talked about
Least
so many
of all
things.
Tremors.
Least of all Tremors.
Before we conclude, though,
Okay,
I have a question about the second movie that I've been wondering about since you said this, Emma. So they trademarked the monsters in the second film. What does that mean? You can trademark an animal?
What happens is what I said I think was copyrighted, but what I meant was
Well, even with
there's this Pac-Man style game called Graboids.
Okay.
And they're all over the country. And Earl didn't get a fucking dime because he didn't get a good lawyer is kind of the thing.
I vaguely remember that from my half-assed attempt at viewing 10 minutes of that movie.
It's like low-key, like he didn't do it right, and everything, like he signed something and he lost all of the rights to any of his experiences, and so he lost all the money he could have made.
Okay.
The thing.
So that sounds like more of an allegory for like something that likely happened to the writers of the film at one point or another.
You're
that
right.
Seems...
You're absolutely right.
Because that sounds so weird. Like
the intern is like, "Oh, this is my favorite game. I bet you guys made a buttload of money off this." And he was like, "No, I am beyond poor.
I would have been like, which is disappointing. I would imagine that like the same guys didn't work on the second movie.
I think the same writers might have, unless it's like, because I was looking at IMDb. I think that they I mean, obviously they're credited to the story and the characters, so I don't know if they actually wrote it or not. I need to look into it maybe, but
you know what? Let me look and see, because I got the wiki open.
There's something I really have to say about the second movie.
Please do.
It's been kind of in my head, and I was like, should I say it? I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
So Earl is the main character of the second movie. Val and Rhonda are off doing their stuff. They're like, Val's just kind of supporting Rhonda in her, zoological enterprises. And Earl is back in a place like perfection. And he's got long hair and he wears a cowboy hat. And he, he's lamenting with this intern kid, like, I got no money, the only woman in my life. And it's like this centerfold from a thing a long time ago, right? And by the end of the movie, the woman that has been working with him to help destroy the things, he finds out that that's her in the centerfold, and then they get together.
That's cute.
It's cute, but it's fucking weird. It's like, how did that fucking happen? Like, what?
The logic there.
The logic. Like, she literally does the position. She's like, oh, you mean me? Like, from way back when, do you recognize me? And he was convinced. Like, that was you. And she was like, I still got the figure. And he's like, I'm so in love with you.
You know how we talked about, planting and payoff?
Yeah.
That was not a good way to do that.
No, but I have to say that was one of the biggest fucking planting and payoff things that I've ever experienced.
Have you?
Like, it's visceral, and I've never
you know who I am? You know that obscure, that grain of sand that you saw in the opening of the movie? Well, I'm the person who walked by it the other day.
Okay, at the risk of making things political, that little girl was me.
That's
that little
fair.
Corn pop.
She's just like, I'm just having a good time, everybody.
Oh my god! She's like, I'm smart, and I used money from those pictures to like have a life, and I'm like, good on you, bitch. Fucking get it.
Speaking of get it. All right, so next time, I want to thank Matt for being on this episode of our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We will have you back in the future for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's a lot of fun.
In the next episode, Emma, I believe we are going to be doing a bit of a switcheroo. We're not going to be talking about 2 things we love. We're going to be ranting about 2 films we hate.
Oh boy.
Very excited.
Emma will be ranting about the film Chloe, and I will be throwing some shit at Godzilla King of the Monsters because what the
could not be
goddamn
2
hell.
more different movies. Godzilla and a movie about a sex worker.
Except that they're both bad.
They're both bad.
They're both bad.
So bad.
Wait, who's in Chloe? I feel like I've heard of that movie.
Oh my god. So many famous actors and actresses. Liam Neeson
Oh boy.
is in
What?
Chloe. Yeah.
Have I
Don't
mentioned I know
watch
his
it.
son?
Don't watch it.
Well,
Don't watch it.
Charles Dance is in King of the Monsters, and actually, okay.
Oh,
we're not
Amanda
gonna do that.
Seyfried.
That's. I thought she was
Seyfried.
in that.
I don't know how her last name is pronounced, but yes, she's Chloe in Chloe.
I
It
feel
is
like
a
I've probably
horrible
heard of
movie.
this film. Okay, anyway, I would like to thank the
Googling
tens of
it.
people who might watch this in the lifetime of this film.
Anna Porva, if you watch this, I love you.
to the friends I have on Facebook who watch my podcast, thank you. Anyway, this has been D and E and M this
And
time.
M.
Hey,
And M. This has
it's
been
Dem Boys.
Dembo. Oh shit, we did it!
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Reached a peak.
Have a great day, and wear a goddamn mask.
Yeah,
All right.
wash your fucking hands.
Wash your hands.
Stupid ass
Father,
peaches.
wash my hands and give me a friggin' mask. All right, bye everybody.
Stay 6 feet away. Bye.
6 feet away. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Act like people are graboids and just run away from them.